So hey guys, how's it going? So I noticed a while back that some of you guys really enjoy some good lore. So I'm sharing with you guys a character I believe has pretty cool lore. Like there's a lot of characters with pretty cool lore in Valkyrie Anatomia, the origin. Whatever you prefer, Valkyrie Anatomia, Valkyrie the origin. The game's been shut down for a while, but I'd still like to share with you guys some lore, but let's start off with some background. So, we're mainly following around this Valkyrie called Lenneth. So, Lenneth is able to, I believe, from what I recall, visit the past memories or whatever, something like that, of like fallen warriors, heroes, whatever, like fallen people, dead people, something like that. And the goal is to make them Einherjar or Einherjar. I don't know the exact pronunciation. But uh, in mythology, Valkyries are they bring like the spirit of fallen warriors or something like that to fight in Valhalla. I believe that's the synopsis for that. The cliff notes on Valkyries right there. So the character that Lenneth is trying to recruit here is Claus. Claus is the former admiral of the Thracian Empire's navy, a coward unable to enter the battlefield unless covered from head to toe in heavy armor. Alright, so with some of the context here, let's get started. Lenneth and Munin search a ship graveyard for the soul of the Admiral Claus. Claus is commanding a Thracian ship when his armor is pierced by a Sabrian sharpshooter, and he spends his last night alive telling his soldiers the story of his life as they head back to shore. The story flashes back to a conversation with a soldier named Bardot, who tries to get him to remove his armor, telling him he'd look better swinging a giant sword than reading a book of strategy. Claus makes the excuse that they could be attacked at any time despite there being no enemies around. After winning a battle, Bordeaux calls Claus strange for not taking off his armor to celebrate. Claus responds that Bordeaux is strange for talking to him. He admits that he's scared of war. Later, Claus says that the seagulls are acting odd, perhaps a sign of an incoming storm. Bordeaux replies that there are no signs of one, but a large storm comes anyways. Claus gives non-standard navigation orders that save the ship, leaving it as one of the few that remain in the fleet. The Cyprian navy attacks, and the soldiers turn to Claus, trusting him because of his demonstrated wisdom. He gives orders to go full speed through the Cyprian formation, making it so that the Cyprians must risk hitting their own ships to attack them. Bordeaux jumps in front of Claus to save him from an arrow, saying that Claus's armor is now protecting not just Claus, but their entire crew. Before he dies, he makes Claus promise he won't let the ship sink. The story flashes back to the time of Claus's death, and he muses that he still hasn't let the ship sink. Keeping his promise to Bordeaux, Lenneth chooses him as an Einherjar, despite his protest that he didn't die a hero, pointing to the fact that the Thracian Emperor has ordered that word of his death be covered up, as it would provide a boost to Cyprian morale, since he was such a legend. His soldiers celebrate the Admiral's life quietly, remembering him as a hero. So that basically sums it up, but there were more details that we didn't really get into. This is kind of just the summary of the story. So going back into more detail, back to, let's see, let's go back to the night where the Cyprian navy attacks, and Claus here, he gives the order to go full speed through the Cyprian formation. He's basically telling his ship to go straight through, I don't know the exact term for like a large group of ships, but he's telling them to like ram and charge straight through a large formation of enemy ships there, from what I remember. And he goes on to kind of become a hero throughout his throughout his kingdom, I guess. And the reason the Trachean Emperor is hesitant and trying to cover up the fact that Claus died is because he was actually so strong, basically, and feared by the other nations that just word of his death would incite them all to start invading their empire. And that's pretty bad, so everyone in the, I guess it's probably, from what I remember, the Trachean Empire, everyone is just silently celebrating his life and mourning the death of Claus here. And there are some other smaller details that I guess you could probably research on your own a bit, but I think Claus is a pretty sick character, so I guess we should maybe let's do one more character from Valkyrie Anatomia then. So sorry for the weird cut there. But let's finish off with Claus' story, a bit more detail, I guess. So Claus, his ship survives, and he starts climbing ranks in the military, I believe. Is what starts to happen after he charges into that large enemy formation and survives. And that is when Bardot tanks the arrow for him, or takes the arrow for him. But now let's do another cool story. Now let's do Maximilian. The description for Maximilian is a kind archer who raised his daughter to the bow despite never having fought or been to war. Though rugged looking, his heart is kind and his words gentle and polite. So this one is just going off of my memory, so I might misspeak a little bit, but I'll do my best. So, Maximilian goes from village to village, and he goes ahead and he does bets. So he puts a target like a certain distance away from himself, and then he shoots at it, and the bet is, can he hit the target from like how far he is from the target right now. He's going to shoot the arrow, and you place a bet on, depending on if you think he'll hit it or not. Like, let's say it's 100 meters and you bet, like, well, I don't remember the currency for the game, so let's say $100 for 100 meters. Can I hit it or not? Well, maybe it starts off smaller, actually. Like, $10. Bet $10, I guess. Can I hit this target from 100 meters away? Well, you might bet yes. Alright, you know, whatever, that's fine. But then let's do 200 meters. Can I hit it from there? And then 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. And then eventually like a kilometer more. But then the thing about Maximilian here is that he never misses. And this is basically how he makes money, though. And every single day he practices his archery skills. Like, a lot. And he does this because he needs to raise his daughter. And so he goes from village to village until eventually they realize, wait, this guy's insane. He actually can't miss. And then they stop betting with him, and then he has to move on to a new location, a new village, or a new area, and find new people to gamble with him, I guess. And I don't know exactly how it works. Maybe it's something like he goes pretty hard, maybe. Like $50 if I miss, you give me $20 if I hit. That kind of energy. So then I believe he might do some stuff with like moving targets as well. Not sure. Can't remember exactly, but Eventually, the king of a nation notices his archery skill, but uh, as Maximilian is demonstrating his archery skill, one of the uh, archers that works for the king, he starts going and saying how it's impossible for Maximilian to constantly land every single shot, and there must be a trick to it. And then Maximilian retorts with something along the lines of, I practice every single day. I practice, and that is why I never miss. He is under a lot of pressure, and he cannot miss. Speaking of which, I think I've overlooked this detail a little bit, but his wife is dead, so he is looking after his daughter, purely by himself. And so, he has his daughter with him as they travel from village to village. As he's, doing this little game, I guess you might call it, where he's shooting these targets for money, I guess. And he cannot really afford to miss any shots or he loses money, and that will cut into the well-being of his daughter. And it is basically the only thing he knows how to do, is how to use a bow. So he very, very seriously practices the bow every single day, I guess. And he's saying because he practices so much here, that's the reason he doesn't miss. And then the king is starting to have some doubts, like, what if there is a trick to it? What if Maximilian is trying to deceive us here? So then the king comes up with this great idea here. After seeing Maximilian has this large confidence that he won't miss a shot, he suggests that his daughter, Maximilian's daughter, holds a target for him to shoot. If he is so confident, he won't miss, right? So I believe it's something like they put an apple on top of his daughter's head or something. Something like that. And they tell him to simply just shoot it. And they say something taunting, probably, like, you never miss, right? Surely there is no issue with this. So then, Maximilian, what he does here is, he actually says he cannot. Because even though he has pretty much never missed in his life, he is not willing to even take the shot. He does not even want to consider the off chance that his daughter will get hit here. And his daughter, knowing and being with her father the whole time, says, I trust you, father. You've never missed a shot in your life. You can do this. I know you can. But he does not even attempt to take the shot. He says he cannot, and he gives up on impressing the king here. Because I believe the king is trying to recruit him for the army, and he will get a high-paying salary. But he does not, he will not risk the life of his daughter in the slightest. Even though he has never missed, he will not even risk this, even though he has practiced for years, days on end. Like, probably like 8 hours every single day, this man would practice his archery. He is not willing to even attempt this shot. And so they go back to going from village to village. And then eventually his daughter is able to settle down somewhere and find a loving husband. And he thinks back on these memories, I believe, and Lenneth comes before him, and he says something probably like that he was not even a soldier or something. But anyways, he becomes an Einherjar and he begins to fight in Valhalla, I guess. So as he's looking back on his life, though, of course he thinks on this memory, and I don't think he had any regrets when he died. I don't think so. But anyways, his daughter has a happy ending as well. And that's how Maximilian's story goes, I believe, from what I vaguely remember. So his story is also pretty cool, and there are a lot of relatively cool stories like this. So let's stop at Maximilian for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Well, I don't know if I'll be making any more videos kind of like in this style, but maybe if you guys enjoyed, I'll try to dig up some of my old memories about this game here. Well, anyways, see you guys.